It is Monday here in Pat Sloan's neighborhood. I am Pat. I am so happy that you're here for my Fireside Chat. And this has been just a gorgeous, gorgeous day in Virginia. I'm up in Northern Virginia, waving to you all over the world that are watching. And also, I don't know if you are on Royal Baby Watch, but I am. And so there's a baby boy, a royal baby boy. Can't wait to see what the baby looks like. I don't know. I remember like when the last babies were coming for the first one, it was like mania. So I guess everybody's calmed down that these couples will have babies and they'll be adorable and we'll get to see them grow up. It's kind of fun. I don't know. It's what's happening today. It was on my mind. So I had a couple of things go on this week, the new releases and the new announcements of the sew-alongs. So let me first just show a few. I've got my rolling assistant over here. So we had the flower bouquet. We had this block come out, and there are 2 more blocks. I just can't wait to put it all together, and your blocks are truly gorgeous. And what's nice is that this is almost done so that you can do your spring yard work, and you know, we get spring fever, right? I mean, today it's like, oh, I don't want to be inside. It is so nice out. But here I am. Then the Christmas figs, I have the blue ones here. So this sew-along is almost done, and I did two of them. There is this is just so, it looks like a snowflake, doesn't it? I just want a whole quilt of those. And then the really traditional, wonderful schoolhouses. And so the Christmas fig sew-along has 1 more block, and then I need to take pictures of the big quilts. I have, this week is the last week before I go to the trade show, and I have, when I do the next Fireside Chat, I have some fun things to share, and so it's kind of hectic this week for me. You know, I'm trying to wrap up things, because then when I come back from the trade show, which is in Kansas City, Missouri, then we'll start rolling into new stuff, and I want to sort of wrap up some of these things that are out here. Okay, let's talk about new things, because it's so fun to start new stuff. So the new sew-alongs, I put a notice out. I'll put a link down here so you can get to it, an announcement. So the first thing is my Block Wednesday. Block Wednesday is called Main Street, and I am so excited to explore our memories of Main Street. The Main Street that, it might be called Main Street, you might be called First Street, it might be called Maple Avenue, it might be called something else, but what is the main street of your community. It's the hub. It's where things go on. It's where you go, and that's what we're going to celebrate. There'll be 12-inch blocks. They'll be pieced. Be very, very, very easy. Nothing difficult, because it's summertime, and I personally don't want to be doing complicated blocks. I want to do a block a week, have fun, and I've decided that I am going to definitely do 2. Because I'm insane, that's really why I'm doing 2. I'm nuts. I'm just nuts. So I first have this bundle, and I show you this on the website. Woo, to get it out of here. So this is the general store. So of course, general store, you have to have let me bring this down here. So the general store fabrics are one option, and there are. I think they have kind of this 30s feel, 30s feel, and that is just feels right for a Main Street project. And we've got, there's some ginghams. Look at the ginghams. Some smaller prints. I just love this little dot, and some really small prints. This is a leaf. There's all kinds of neat stuff in here. Very much a tonal. This very cool stripe. I like that too. I mean, all of that feels very 30s kind of. And then I decided that it would also be good to do it in a second color. Like 2 quilts. This would be one, super easy. There'll be a very easy pieced border on it, super, super easy. But I also thought, I want to play with this fabric that I had. When I did the strawberry block, do you remember that? I used this, it's called Cheeky. And when I used this, I was crazy about it. I loved cutting it up. I loved seeing it all, you know, come together as I was sewing that block. So I thought, okay, let me use that. So there's, you know, another, you know, like this sort of straw flower. Here's a plaid. And then there's the light blues, little prints, another bigger plaid. And then there's yellows. So the same sort of prints all in yellow and pink. And let's see, then this sort of, I don't know, strawberry red. I mean, it's sort of like more pink than red. And green. Now this, let me just talk to you about this because there's a few things to know. And I did write about this, but I want to say it. And if you have questions down there, you know, I can address them next time. So leave me a question on, you know, at my website for the Fireside Chat, if you have, you know, or you know, here at YouTube or at Facebook. Because the bundles, what I'm working with is a fat quarter bundle. I will not use all those pieces, but I have it because it's much easier to get a bundle and to play with it because I do not design this in advance. I have a layout, and I know there's 12 blocks, but I am not laying this all out, you know, like a regular pattern. Block Wednesday is all done very simple, very fun from bundles of fabric, and so I get a few of them I get extra pieces, you know, extra piece that's bigger, like a yard or whatever, because I want to use those in multiple blocks. So I need to have enough to use in multiple blocks, like as a background. For, you know, for this line, for the cheeky, I am using, you know, a dot. So there are lots of fat quarter bundles of this, and both of them. And I know that we're getting more of the essential dot in, and there's some of this that's there, but you know, there isn't going to be a ton of that. So you can just use another pink or another, if pink's not your thing, you know, get a little bit more of a blue instead. You know, just be a little creative with it. You don't have to make it exactly like mine. You can make it real similar. And when you have this bundle, what's been really wonderful to see is that a lot of you do that. You take the bundle, and then I might use this green in one spot, but you might use, you know, you might decide that you want this in that same spot on your block because you like it better. And because there's enough here for you to play with, you can do that. You know, it's not so exacting when I use a fat quarter bundle. So you will have leftover, which you can put into your collection. And you could do some extra pillows with it. You could sew up the extras for backing. There's ways to not, you know, use it. There are also a different number of fat quarters in each of these bundles. That's not a problem because I am not going to use all of these fat quarters. So it doesn't matter if you see another bundle out there that's got, you know, a similar number of fat quarters in it. That'll give you the variety to play with. So you'll be fine. You just need to have some, you know, some extra things that you have a little bit more bulk to it. Like on the general store, I have this one as my background, which is a very tiny little print that reads really pale pink. So those are my sort of extra fabrics. Now, the Wednesday Sew Along will start, what did I say, May 29th. I have a note for myself, May 29th. But then I will have a week, the next week we won't do a block. We're just going to do one block, and then people can sort of catch up and join in. And I also am on travel, so and I have a lot of things that are going on. So we're just going to do that one, and then we'll pick it up and go weekly after the break. Just a 1 week off, you know. So it's kind of a little different, but I didn't want to have to wait a whole long time. We're going to get jump start, get us going on one block. So I will be showing both of those. Now, we're also going to do some projects for summer from my Celebrate the Seasons. And there's the summer projects that are in here are small, so that's nice. We can do little decorative things, like you can do the pillow, you know, pick like whatever accent. You know, pillows really brighten up your space and make it really, really nice. I'm going to show you some applique stuff so that you can applique the bird's nest, or the sailboat. There's the sailboat. And I know somebody already made the sailboat in my group. So I have a few ideas for how you can sort of expand those if you wanted something a little bigger. So I'll talk about that, and we'll start playing around with that in June, early June. Now I do have 2 other sew-alongs that I announced. Yay! They're sew the book. So they're ones that you sew. You have to have the book, much like Christmas Fig or the Celebrate the Seasons. So we sew from the book. The first one is the Winter Wonderland, and we will do this cover quilt, which is all of these images framed out. So what is nice is when you have the book, if you get on a roll and you want to make like all the frames, you know, you can do that. You know, you don't have to wait for anything. It's all there. There will be, because this book has been out for a while, the exact fabrics are not available. But I worked with a fat quarter shop who put together, and we ordered some fabrics that are coming in. And they should be in sometime in May, which means we can start this one on June. We're going to start June 14th on this one, sewing the first block. We're just going to go straight across, you know, like this in rows. Very systematic. And all the details are at the link because I don't have to remember them then and tell them to you here. So they're all in the link. But that will be a really nice, fun project to do for winter. But when that kit is in, I will link to it. Okay, so now the very last one I talked about, which is the one we'll start in July, so it has to go further out. You know, I had to balance these so that I'm not going too crazy, you know, stagger them, and plus it's more fun. And this one we'll do weekly, so that you can have a quilt we'll start like, I think July 11th, something like that, and then you'll have a quilt to use. The thing is, I was a dumb bunny. And I didn't realize that there are kits, but I didn't realize that people had to pre-order the kits. And so you won't, unless you pre-ordered the kit, the exact fabric kit is going to be hard to get. You can make up, like the fabric is coming in not as a kit. The fabric is still going to come in. So you could, you know, order a fat quarter bundle and some extra. I'm going to put the supply list out there. I have done that. I put the supply list. But also, I asked the fat quarter shop if we might use some basics, because when you look at this quilt, there's nothing, the fabrics are darling, but they're also pretty basic. You know, they're sort of tonal. There are, you know, except for maybe this floral on there, everything else is pretty, you know, you can use some basics for it and still get this super darling quilt and have the exact same effect, in my opinion. So I am going to have some thoughts for you on that if you want to do that. So if you had pre-ordered a Witch's Night Out kit, then that's that. You know what you're getting. The rest of us, I do have one coming, I'm sorry, but I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry. But there is a fabric coming. For you, those of you who really want this fabric, as soon as it's in, I'll tell you so that you can zip in there and get some. You know how it goes. You know, these fabrics, some lines just don't stay around very long and they don't print a whole gobs of it. But it's still a fun quilt no matter what fabric you use. And some of you might want to have more traditional orange fabric because these are very pale orange. So maybe you really like really yummy deep orange fabrics, or you have a Halloween collection already of fabrics. Maybe you want to add some purple in here because you could do like the chains and the different stars and things. You could do those in purple. They wouldn't have to be in white and have this soft feel. You could make yours much more vibrant with a whole different kind of fabric selection. So that will be sort of interesting, and I might like pop in and do like a pumpkin or something in different fabrics off and on during this sew along, just to have some fun and show you how fabric really changes what a quilt looks like, because I'm all about that. How fabric changes quilts. It is amazing. All right, so that was my confession and my apology for not understanding how things worked. I got excited and I just sort of put it on my list of things to do and didn't really follow along how that worked, because this was one that the Fat Quarter Shop is running. They designed it and are running it. So Sorry. Things happen, but we'll have wonderful options. It's not the end of the world. The quilt itself is so darling, you'll want to make it. Okay. Oh, plus it also has this, it has a hinge. So I really like that. So you can do the book flat open. See, that's really great. So it's a bonus. All right, I want to show you the Sew Sampler that came last week, because I didn't open it yet, and I know, and I didn't read the post. They post what was in it. I didn't read that either, because let's push that up, because I really like to just see it fresh, you know, and I like to see it when I can show you. So this is the start of the new year. The boxes start now. Like they have a when you get the box, it comes with a pattern, and that's a series. So it'll go, and this starts the one. So they called it the birthday box, which is so cute. So it's called the birthday box. And my friend Corey Yoder designed the project that's in here this year, and so it's called Goodness Grows. And that looks like, let's see that first, because I had to see first. So here's the first block called Be Fruitful. And that is this comes, and it's like a cardstock, and that comes each month. And so you'll have a whole quilt as you go along. And then on the back, there's always, somewhere in here, there'll be a coupon. But anyways, let's see what else we got in here. So, oh, I'm pretty excited. This is Tula Pink fabric. It is her, Pinkerville, which I just named this, cracks me up. So it is I don't know if it's a mini jelly roll, 18-piece. Yeah, it's an 18-piece jelly roll, and that is in here. And they always give you a pattern to use it. So what did we get this time? We got, that's pretty. So that pattern came. And then you have to, either have your own, solids. They add solids, so that makes it really cost effective. So that aqua and white are solids. So you can either use something you have in your stash, or get the basics of the month, the solids. So that is very, very cool. This is in the box. The box always is worth way more than what you pay for the subscription. So here are some Quilters tips. Get a grip with Quilters. So this is for machine quilting. Basically, you put them on your fingers, like the old like the finger cots, I guess they were called, that they did back in the day when they had to do a lot of paperwork, so you could use, these are what these are made for, flexible plastic, very nice. And then we have super cute Fussy cutting ruler from Tula Pink, and it has a unicorn on it. It does. So she calls this as her Tula Pink hardware. So all of her notions are called hardware. That always cracks me up. And then we got some darling Duckbill Scissors. They're tiny ones. I have never seen such tiny ones. I can't wait to try them. So do you see how they've got that? It's called a duckbill, and that's often done for, like, if you're applique would be like for trimming, but I imagine that for paper piecing this is really useful too. Mostly people use it for applique, so they can get like close to the edge. So there's all kinds of, they give you a little, like this inside, which I'm not showing you, has all the coupons. So besides getting what's in the box, you also get coupons for picking up something that while you're shopping. They're very, very useful, so they're exclusive to the Sew Sampler subscribers. So I will link you up to how to subscribe. Whoops, that doesn't go in there. And if you want to, you can. Now I did want to show you, I wanted to do something else here. I wanted to sew a little bit. See if I have time to do that. I think I do. I brought over the Jubilant. So I love the Jubilant. It is Baby Locks, one of the Baby Locks Genuine collections. And I'm a Baby Lock ambassador. So this is what I have in addition to my Solaris and a few other machines. So I wanted to show you a couple things. One is I'm going to have to do this. I want to show you how easy it is to change the foot. You know, so if you are not used to interchanging feet, let's see if I can get how close I can get here, because I'm on the back side of my table today. So on the back there is a little lever that you just push and the foot drops off. So this foot then is, whoops, let me see. The foot has this little bar, and that is what you are clamping onto. So it's super easy to just put the foot up there. So like if I wanted to change over to, see, what have I got? That's not the foot I wanted. Actually, the foot I wanted is on my other machine. Let's put the clear foot on, just to show you. So if I wanted to put the clear foot on, I can just lock it up there, and now it's on. To take it off, hit the thing, and it comes off. Put the regular one back again, just put it under there. And you could just lower it, or I just pop it up myself, right on there. Super easy. The other thing that I wanted to, there, you got real close there. The other thing I wanted to do was just tell you about how I would approach doing a little sewing, because I have, let's see, what I've got in here in my bin. See my bin? I have in my bin here the orange quilt, the orange quilt that I will be finishing. And I decided, see, here was the layout, right, that had, here we go. Here's the layout that had like sashing, and I kept debating. Do I want the sashing? So I finally decided, yes, I'm going to do the sashing. So what I did is these two things are going to be and a little inner border on the very outside with this charcoal, and then this fabric, a very small border, maybe like a 2-inch or something, because it's going to be pretty big. But what I did is I did the rows like this, and I put the sashing, but I did a 2-inch instead of 2.5. So that it's not quite as wide. So my clip fell on the floor. So we're just going to put this over here, and I'll fix that later. But when I'm doing the sashing, I've got some cut right here. These are my 2-inch by, I think it was whatever the block size is. And I want to show you the sort of the order when I'm you know, like a decision making for sewing these together, because I have seams in the block, and a lot of times those seams are going to have intersections like that you need to hit right on, because otherwise you might chop off a point or something like that. So when I take a sashing unit like this, what I am doing, this is the right side. What I'm doing with the sashing unit is I could go and just put it on the right. Now let's get the other blocks out from underneath there. Okay, we got one block. And let me get some pins. Okay, let me just bring this over. And we got my little magnetic pin holder. So I've got, what I can do is I can put this on top, but I really want to see the seams on the back side, because that way then I know that I am doing what I want to be doing. Like I'm hitting the points if there are. This one's just straight line, so it won't matter. So I just pin on both ends. Because if you're not pinning on both ends, if there's a little bit of easement that has to happen, you can easily do that. Like whether you're going in or pulling out. But if you've got it pinned on both ends, and then if you feel like there's too much easement, like one block is really bigger than the other, or bigger than the strip, take a look and measure it, because fix it. Like take the seam and fix it, because it's going to bow like that if you don't. All right, like I don't necessarily put one in the middle, but if you are a pinner, you can do that. And then I would be coming right along and do the 1/4 inch. And see, I'm doing this upside down and backwards since I'm sideways here. Like with the Jubilant, I can sew, you know, without the presser foot. So I put it on slow here, but here would be going along, sewing the seam, and if I want to stop, be sure you can see what's going on. Let me move it over here a little bit more. See, next time I think I'll set up on the other side of the table and do some sewing so that you can really see what's going on, because it is hard for me to sew sideways. So I'm literally standing on the side of this guy. But there, I'm like right where all the seams are. I know what's going on. And if I feel like I need to adjust anything, if I want to take the speed down, since I don't have my presser foot, and I want to take the pin out, always take the pin out. So here's this slider. And done. So stop that. And we'll come back to sewing sideways on the Jubilant. The Jubilant is fantastic for travel. It is super lightweight. It has a handle. It has lots of different feet that come with it. It has a large number of stitches, so that if you want to do, but you know, everybody's always looking for something to take with them on travel or to retreats, you know, or you know, maybe your second home. But this is super light. I will put a link so you can go out and see it, and you can actually purchase these online. And if you do, that supports our small family business, Greg and I. So we really appreciate that. If you're in the market for a travel machine, take a look at the Jubilant. The link I'll send you to will also have some videos so that you can see some about it. Yes, lots of fun things. So I'm sewing these orange. I have 2 rows of the 6. I think there's 6 rows. 2 of the 6 sewn together. Then I have to do the spacer strips and sew those together. And then the orange machine will be done. I don't know what to call it. I don't even know where it's going. But I'm excited to use up all that orange fabric that I had, which was a ton of orange fabric. Okay, so I had a giveaway. Where is it? And the question this week was, and I'm going to call up on my phone quick because there was so many. It was about techniques, you know, because what techniques do you want to know more about, you know, are stuck on, you know, problems you might be having, but more like just also like, what do you want to know about? What techniques have you not done that you're like thinking that would be fun to do, fun to know about? And that's what I was looking for. So just some of the really, let me see, some of the really cool ones. Let me, not that they aren't all cool, but I was going to read one. So some people were struggling with spray basting, so somebody had a problem with that. How do you get blocks to finish to the correct size according to the pattern? You know, I can tell you right there, that one is always seam allowance. Seam allowance, seam allowance, seam allowance. If you know you cut it correct, if you check the cutting, then it's your seam allowance because it's math. The blocks are all math. When you sew 2 things together, like 2 plus 2 equals 4. So if you're coming up 2 plus 2 equals 3.75, it's seam allowance that's making them too small. Or if they're coming up 4.05, it's seam allowance. So you always need to go back. What you need to do is always check as you sew 2 things together, check that size. And I give you that on all my free patterns. I give you the sizes. Many other people do that too. That says when you sew these 2 together, this is what the unit size should be. Check it. Take your ruler, measure it. If it's wrong, then fix it then. It does not get any better as you just make the errors bigger as you sew along. And fabric is not like a piece of wood. Fabric gives, it shifts, it pulls. And so because of that, there is room for error. Now, you know, there is error that can occur because it does pull or shift. And so some people starch their fabric, which will help with that. You know, so those are kind of things. Some people asked about different challenges, different applique methods, garment making, color placement, string piecing. So the winner this week is Audrey V. I cannot pronounce your last Volkaper, something like that. Audrey V. And basically Audrey wants to know about English paper piecing, wants to know how English paper piecing is done, and that's like hexes. If you know what hexes are, I think that's hexes, or English paper piecing. And she's also seen Kitty Wilkinson's Pollinate quilt, and I just got that whole kit from the DIY Addict website, which is just such a cool English paper piecing quilt. And so she's interested in maybe doing that, but she thought it looked hard. And I actually thought that one looked easier than a lot of them. So I think it's a matter of how many English paper piecing things you've looked at in the past, whether they look hard or look easy. But hexagons are always really the best way to start, because they're very forgiving. And like I'm doing those ones that are just going to be one flower put down on the background. And I'm going to take those, I think, to the trade show. So this is what Audrey will get, is this super cute bundle of farm fabric. Now I need to take a break from the giveaway this week because of getting ready to go to the trade show, and then going to the trade show, and then coming back, and all of that. And I have a lot of things, like next week I have super big surprise, and so I am trying to get all that ducks in the row for that, to let you know what that's all about, and tell you about it. I'm so excited. So I need to take a break because I can't really, I have to do a few less of these kind of, of the giveaways and stuff till I can get through the trade show and back again, and all the stuff I need to get organized. It's always one of the busiest. The two trade shows are always sometimes the busiest times. We have short deadlines. The trade show doesn't move, so you have to, when you're there, you got to have everything with you. You can't adjust it. You can't say, oh, we'll do it next week. I'm running late. No, it's going to run. So I'm Pat Sloan, and this is going to be a fabulous week. I am so excited about the sew-alongs. I will keep updating the page, and I will also put a note out on Wednesday to tell people kind of the status of where things are again, remind them to go over there, remind all of you to go over there. And that is what's going on. And I will see you at my Facebook group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. And if you're on Instagram, I'm Quilter Pat Sloan. You can come over there. And here at my website, YouTube, leave me comments. I pop around and answer comments through all these places. It's just me. I don't have anybody that answers them for me. So when you leave a comment, I will pop around and get it. It might not be that day, or somebody else might answer you. So that's good. It's a community. It's a neighborhood. That's what we do. We help each other. I'm Pat Sloan. I will chat with you online. Bye-bye.